The 695th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMA SGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing the college football and NFL seasons with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Heidi Ho DeGenerinos, welcome back, or welcome for the first time to the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Episode 695 is dedicated to, I've lost his name here, or her name. It's probably he. Konstantinly Kouris, who is new to our YouTube channel and thanks us for our service. And we thank you for watching. Konstantinly Kouris and everyone else. Make sure you subscribe to MMA Gambling Podcast on YouTube. And thank you for listening or watching or however you're catching these words. I'm one of your hosts, Big Body Taco Jeff Fox, and we have got a monumental. I added a bunch of nicknames there. A monumental KSW 100. I said off air, this isn't that big of a fight card for the 100th event, but I forgot they have two title fights that they have stuck in the middle of the fight card. I guess they're doing intermission, perhaps. So we got three title fights and a champion fighting the main event as well. So it's a pretty big card with a lot of familiar names if you're into MMA. And I have someone beside me here, well, virtually beside me, who is very into MMA and knows a lot about regional MMA. He's up 38 and a half units in regional MMA, aka non-UFC MMA this year. It'll be the one and only Daniel Gumby Vreeland. Hello.
Yeah, this would be a great weekend. Obviously, we gave you 5 picks for Cage Warriors yesterday, 5 for KSW today. You get some Anthony Pettis Fighting Championships picks tomorrow. With all of those, we're hoping that this is the weekend that puts us over 40 units, which would be we did pretty good last year. I don't think it was even close to 40 units good. So, this is a big year for us.
If it was, we would have heard about it. Right, Gumby?
Yeah, I'd still be talking about it for
Exactly.
sure. And I'd have a more specific number if I remember it being huge.
Yeah,
it was good for the record. It was in the black.
It
was in the black.
Yeah.
I know for sure it was in the black, but not quite this in the black.
Yeah, the Pettis card looks pretty decent as well.
It's a great one.
Work on it. Yeah.
It's like one of their best cards in a really long time.
Yep. Yeah, looking very, very solid. So we will get that to you tomorrow. Today, like I said, is all about KSW, and it's their anniversary show, so to speak, KSW 100. So they've packed it with, like I said, title fights and or fighters that are household names. To steal an old quote from the Gumby. Before we jump into it, got to remind you, if you don't know, college basketball season is here. And if you aren't already, please make sure you subscribe to the College Experience for their daily picks podcast, breaking it all down. And thank you, of course, for tuning in to us. If you could pop over to Spotify, smash that 5-star rating for us. It would help us greatly. And it would help us prevent corporate gambling from taking over. Now off to Poland we go. Sadly, if for people like to clown on me, there's not too many difficult Polish names on this fight card. Now that I said that, watch what's going to happen. But I think I got a handle on the names. This is KSW 100. Khalidov versus Bartosiński. Konfrontacja Stutzwalki. Say it better, Gumby. I like when you do it.
Konfrontacja Stutzwalki.
I'll just call it KSW from here on out. It's going down November 16th, which would be Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern start time in Gliwice, Poland. See, I can't even say the. Do you know how to pronounce that?
I'm not looking at the word currently, so no, I don't.
Gliwice. How would you say that?
Yeah, that's I have to look at it. For some reason, I can't do the move in my head, especially not while you continuously say it wrong.
Gliwice Arena Gliwice in Gliwice, Poland. Hopefully, one of our listeners or viewers are from Gliwice, and they will let me know how I am insulting their city's
culture.
Name. All right, 10
their culture.
Yes, 10 fights. Gumby we got full breakdowns on 5 of them, and then if there's other good picks, we will get you in the lightning round. And there's always at least one other pick that Gumby is in on. All right, we're starting things off with a non-title fight. Jan, this is one of the few non-title fights. It is a welterweight fight. Andrzej Grzebyk. I've said him before. Andrzej Grzebyk. Wiktor Zalewski. See, it's still not easy. Both from Poland. Like I said, it is welterweight. It is 3 rounds. Zalewski is 7-0 with 6 knockouts, 3-0 in KSW. He's won 2 straight via TKO. He's 9 years younger than Grzebyk, -105. Oh, yeah, we have odds. You've seen them, I assume, right?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Oh, okay, good.
That's fantastic. Wait,
you didn't hear that, did
-105?
Yeah, 105 for him.
I wrote, literally, I have written down here on my little cheat sheet here, I wrote Pick'em. So that's perfect. Yeah, that's exactly pretty much what I thought.
Grzebyk, double champ is the nickname because he was in a previous promotion. He's 21-6, 12 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted once, 5-3 in KSW. He's won 3 straight and 4 of 5. He's not lost since July 2022. He's got multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt. I'm still wearing it. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Get sticky with it. He better have multiple championships if he's a double champ. 2012 pro MMA debut. He's fight at middleweight, an inch of height, 4 inches of reach, -143. So it's not quite a pick. That's I don't know why they have
so much juice on there.
Yeah. Right?
Sometimes, and I don't know where you're pulling those numbers from, but a lot of those offshore books.
I can't remember either what book it was. It was one of those sites that aggregate all the lines.
Yeah. So it was there's lots of juice out there sometimes. I'm gonna go Zalewski. I'm gonna be honest. I thought maybe his 7-0 record would have pulled this a little bit closer. As I said, I had it pegged as a pick'em. One of them's got tons of experience. One of them less so. But the difference maker for me, both of these guys, kind of fun strikers. Both of them got a lot of power. Grzebyk, I'm pretty sure he won his last fight by body shot, if I'm remembering correctly. And Zalewski just absolutely slept the dude he was fighting. So, both of them come with big power, but the difference for me is that, one of them is more cumulative power. Grzebyk, he sort of puts his strikes together and builds on people, and when they start to wear out, he can sort of take over and just rack them up. And, not that a body shot isn't a big shot, but, it seems more he gets his more by cumulative work, whereas Zalewski turns lights out, right? Zalewski hits you to the head and puts you to sleep. And so I give them, in terms of their striking skills, I put them pretty close together. So of course, in that case, you would want to favor the guy who's got the more serious put away power. If they're just going to have a battle on the feet and be pretty close the whole time. And then also, I really don't like the grappling of Grzebyk. I've seen him give up positions and wind up in bad positions and get held against the cage occasionally. And I don't know that Zalewski has any interest in doing that. He strikes me as he just wants to let him fly and knock somebody out, and he's 7-0, so he's got tons of faith in himself. But if for some reason Grzebyk did start to pile on the strikes and, Zalewski started to feel like he was in a bad spot or things weren't going his way, I actually think he could wrestle his way out of it. I think he could wrestle and put Grzebyk at least up against the cage and wear on him and spend some time recovering if he had to. So for those reasons, I like Zalewski. I am, like I said, I thought this was going to be a pick'em. So to see Grzebyk in -140 next to his name, or 143, I think you said.
Yes.
Which is a fun number. Then I definitely like Zalewski on that one. So yeah, give me Zalewski here, slight dog.
All right, you got him. All right, let's hit a title fight because that's what this card is chock full of. This one is here we go. Light heavyweight championship. Rafał, Haratyk, he's Polish. Marcin, Wójcik, he's Polish as well. 5-minute rounds, 205. Let's break her down. The challenger is Wójcik. The Giant is the nickname. 20-9, so 20-9, 10 knockouts, 8 submissions. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted 4 times, 6-4 in KSW, 6-1 over his last 7, including winning his last fight via submission. He got TKO'd by Haratyk back in February of this year.
Yes, not even that long ago.
He got knocked out by him in February. He submitted his next opponent, and now they're fighting again. He has multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Used to fight at middleweight and heavyweight, 1-0 in PFL, 2007 pro MMA debut, 2 years younger, an inch taller than the champ. The champ is Haratyk, the Polish tank, 19-5-2, 6 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted twice, 3-0 in KSW, and the current champ. He's won 3 straight and 6 of 7. Used to fight at middleweight, 2010 pro MMA debut, 3 inches of reach over Wójcik. And I didn't tell you odds. I did good. Go ahead. Guess the odds.
And you. Haratyk -450.
No, not even close. -132.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't make the lines, dude.
I mean, that's great value on Haratyk. I don't know why. Do they think Wójcik is going to sub? I don't
Now
even
you're worried,
know why
aren't you?
he would be. Yeah, now I'm like saying, when you said negative 132,
132, yeah.
I wrote 450 on my sheet. Look at that. I mean, Haratyk knocked him out. You know, you decide what happened in the first 4 minutes if you want, and talk about how Wójcik is like, you know, maybe looked good at moments in those first 4 minutes. But the fact of the matter is, he's got knocked out in the first round, and not for anything, he's been finished a ton in his career. He's got 9 losses. 8 of them are by finish. 4 KOs, 4 subs. And Haratyk has got big hands. He knocks people out all the time. He's got good top control. He can submit you. I thought for sure this would be one of those ones that, you know, it's a rematch of a fight that only happened 9 months ago. And, you know, one guy knocked the other one out, and he's super susceptible to being knocked out every time. Yeah, I got to go with Haratyk here. I'm going to have to like sit with my thoughts now. You like totally threw me off with that number. I can't imagine it stays there though, right? It's like, and maybe this is your cue. If you're listening to this on Monday morning, maybe go get some money on Haratyk, because like you can't knock a guy out, fight him again 9 months later, and not be like a negative 300 favorite unless it was a fluke. And like I said, Wójcik gets knocked out all the time. Like he notably has issues with his chin. Like, why would you not just take Haratyk here? So yeah, Rafał Haratyk, I didn't have too in-depth of a breakdown there because I thought we already saw this fight, and I didn't think the odds would be close. So people usually don't like to hear me drone on and on about negative 450 favorites and why they're obviously going to win. But Haratyk, negative 132, incredible value.
Yeah, Gumby is hopefully racing out to put money down on it right now as we're recording. All right, before we move on, Underdog Fantasy, ladies and gentlemen. Underdog Pick'em is one of the biggest menus for all sports. They got NFL, they got college football, college basketball, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and more. And you can now use specials and boosts on all flex entries. You got to play for us for this Monday, Gumby?
Sure. The Monday Night Football game this week is the Dolphins and the Rams. I think it's probably going to be a shootout. I'll take the higher than on Kyren Williams's rushing yards. I also like Cooper Kupp's higher than on his receiving yards. You can use both of those.
There you go. Put those together on a ballot. Make sure you enter our promo code MMASGPN when you sign up. That way you can claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code MMASGPN. All right. Hopefully Gumby is over his shock and we can move on to the next fight. Yeah. I double checked just now, and that's a certain.
I like how you double check. Gumby's never wrong like that. Exactly. I'll check it out.
certain site with the initials MB betting site has that. The line is that. So take it as it is. So KSW interim featherweight championship. Robert Ruchała, the interim champ from Poland. Kacper Formela, he's from Poland as well. 3 5-minute rounds if they need it, as I always say. Tell you about the challenger. The Polish Machida is Formela's nickname. He's 18-4, 7 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. He's 1-0 in KSW. He's won 9 straight. He's not lost since June of 2020. He's a regional champion. He's fight at lightweight, plus 190. I almost said it. The whole thing. You don't know the last digit yet.
Plus one. I do say plus 190. Plus 190.
No, I didn't. Ruchała is 10-1, 2 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out once, 7-1 in KSW. Won his last fight via TKO. He is a 2-time interim champ, which is quite a feat. He won the interim championship.
And now he's defending it too.
Yeah, he won the interim championship. He lost it when in the unification bout, or he lost. He didn't lose. He lost the bout, and then he won the interim championship again. And now he's defending it. Who's the normal champ?
Parnasse, who is the double champ. He's also the lightweight champ too.
Yeah.
And he's defending his lightweight belt in December. So
yeah, next card.
Yeah, that's how Ruchała wound up the interim champ.
KSW 101, I'm sure we shall be covering because December is always a month where
we're
looking elsewhere. Yeah. All right. This who am I talking about? Ruchała, right? 2 years younger than Formela, an inch taller, an inch of reach. I didn't really give away the odds because these odds have been very wide apart. Like the dog and the favorite haven't really lined up appropriately.
I said yes. I originally had written down Ruchała negative 250. 319. Okay. Yeah. And then so Formela is in like high plus 100s.
198.
Yeah, 198. All right. So a little bit off on that. I like Formela at that price. I think so the thing about these two on the feet is like both of them are kind of fun dynamic strikers on the feet. And If you watch Ruchała's fight with Parnasse, the thing that seems to give him the most trouble is pressure. When people move forward and get after it and are constantly making him work off of his back foot, he's a lot worse than he is when he can move forward and draw the strikes out of you. He really wants to draw the strikes out of you and be the one to counter. And I just don't think Formela is going to take a step back. You know, his nickname is the Polish Machida. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah, that's first of all, that's a wild nickname. But second of all, like that goes to show you about like the style he brings, right? He's a guy, he comes from a karate background, and he's a guy who likes to move forward. He's a guy who throws fun kicks, and they actually both throw fun kicks for that matter. But Formela is not going to be a guy who moves backwards and let Ruchała do his thing where he, you know, he's pump fakes all the time and tries to draw out the strikes. He's going to use more of Parnasse's game plan, which is where he moves forward and he tries to put Ruchała's back against the cage. In addition to that, I think people sleep on the fact that Formela can wrestle just a little bit. It's not like, you know, I don't think of him as a wrestler because, like, again, he calls himself the Polish Machida. He clearly wants to strike. But, like, I've seen a couple of, like, really nice inside trips from him in various fights where he winds up with good control. And, like, it's something I don't see from Ruchała at all. You know, I see Ruchała as a guy who would, you know, is going to want to throw hands, is going to want to counter strike, is going to want to do all that kind of stuff, and isn't going to try to mix in a takedown. And I think Formela might be able to. So, you know, if you add in the fact that his takedowns aren't bad and the fact that Ruchała does throw a bunch of spinning things, like there is a chance he steals a couple of rounds just by, you know, mixing in enough grappling to keep Ruchała on his toes. And maybe just, you know, a couple of minutes of control time here, a couple of minutes of control time there. So Formela plus 198, it's a little closer than I wanted it to be, but you know, I still think Formela here is probably the pick.
Gumby is liking the dogs, which is good if they hit, when they hit. I mean, all right. Believe this will be our co-main event of the evening. It's for the KSW Heavyweight Championship. Phil DeFries, the current champion from Great Britain. Darko Stošić, the challenger. He is from Serbia. 5-minute round. So a couple of UFC vets going out of here. Tell you about the challenger first. Stošić, the Hammer, is 21-6, 15 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out 3 times. 7-1 in KSW. He's won 4 straight in 506. All of those have been TKOs. So even the loss. Lost his last weight, actually lost to DeFries via TKO back in 2022. This is a rematch as well. Regional champion, 1-3 when he was in the UFC. 2012 pro MMA debut. Used to fight at light heavyweight, 6 years younger than the champ. The champ is DeFries, 25-6 with 1 no contest, 6 knockouts, 14 submissions. He's been knocked out 5 times. 11-0 in KSW. He's the champ. He's defended it 10 times successfully already. He's won 12 straight fights. He's not lost since May of 2017. He went 1-0 in Bellator, 2-3 in the UFC. He made his pro debut in 2009, 0-1 as a pro grappler. Based on the last weigh-ins, he was 23 pounds heavier than Stošić, 4 inches taller, 3 inches of reach on him. And the odds are up to you, Gumpy.
Negative 350 DeFries.
469.
469. Nice.
Nice.
I'm gonna take DeFries. Stošic's a light heavyweight, dude. Like, what is he? I mean, like, I know he's fought heavyweight fights before, and he packs on a little extra muscle and whatever like that. But like, this is the guy who went 1-3 at light heavyweight in the UFC, getting controlled by Kennedy and Nzechukwu. Although that fight, if I'm not mistaken, had like 300 dick kicks in it. Which,
that's a good way to control someone.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. But like the thing about DeFries is that's always been the best about him, and why he has 10 title defenses in KSW is he's like a smothering top control guy. He's a guy with great positioning who wrestles really well and all of that kind of stuff. And Stošic's a guy who notoriously loses to those types of people. He lost to DeFries. He lost to Shamil Gadziev that way. He lost to like when he moves up to heavyweight, if he can just be the quicker guy who strikes, awesome. If it's a striking match. And when it's not a striking match, it's bad news for Stošić. He can't win that kind of like suffocating grappling style that Phil DeFries brings. DeFries is a nightmare matchup for Stošić. I don't know why they're making this fight other than maybe Stošić has a big name and it's a KSW 100 card that they're trying to make big. But yeah, for me, this is DeFries all day. Negative 469 is kind of a bummer, but maybe that's just parlay fuel.
No, it's nice. Would DeFries be any better in the UFC if he had another go at it, or is this just a level competition thing?
I mean, he's one of those guys who it's almost the opposite of what I said about Stošić, right? It's like Stošić is a guy who can't win that suffocating fight. DeFries is a guy who can't win unless it's that suffocating style of fight, in my opinion. Like, he's not going to go out there and outbox Jairzinho Rozenstruik. He's not going to go out there and outbox, Marcin Tybura. But he might go out there and just, he might exhaust somebody. He might go in and fight a striker and exhaust him. But for me, he's a champ here at KSW. He's probably making buttloads of money.
Yeah.
He could go over there like I said, Tybura is like his worst nightmare because Tybura can stuff a takedown or Sergey Spivak can stuff a takedown, and then both of them will be better on their feet than DeFries is, in my opinion. If he fought Jelton Almeida, Jelton will kill him. So, like, he could go be edge of the top 15 kind of guy and make an eighth of what he's making right now or less, or he can continue to run off 10, 15 wins and be a star in Poland. So, I think he's good. But I don't think, he's champion UFC good.
Yep, exactly. Very, very well put. All right, before we get to the main event, let me tell you about Rhythm. SGPN's proud partner Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model, copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or press build a model for me, and Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop. It also has a myriad of stats, research, and trend analysis to give you even more betting insights. Now you can trap props in the Rhythm app, and Rhythm just launched their college basketball models. Go out there, find the next Al Horford for us. So check out all the props there and claim our 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RTHMM. And we're also brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business, BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. You can easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. U.S. players are always welcome. Check out all the MMA odds there and go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. It's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN. So we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. All right, main event time. Not for a belt, but it's got a former champ and a current champ in it. It is a middleweight fight. Mamed Khalidov from Poland versus Adrian Bartosiński from Poland as well. 3 5-minute rounds if they need it. 185. Tell you about the veteran first. How about age before beauty? Cannibal Khalidov, 37-8-2, 16 knockouts, 17 submissions. Been knocked out twice, submitted 3 times. 21-4-2 in KSW. Used to be a 2-time champion there. He's gone 2-0 over his last 2 and 3-1 over his last 4. So he's not quite washed up yet. All of those are TKOs, even the loss. He's not fought in over a year. June 2023 is his last fight. He's not lost since December 2021. He used to fight at light heavyweight and heavyweight. 2004 pro MMA debut. 0-1 as a pro boxer. 1 inch of height, 5 inches reach over Bartosiński. And that's all I got. Bartosiński, Bartos, you can call him. 16-0, 11 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's 9-0 in KSW, and the current welterweight champion. He's moving up here to a middleweight bout. Won his last fight via submission. 15 years younger than Khalidov, and that's all I got. Didn't tell you the odds. I made it through the episode.
I mean, with the you did on one fight, or two fights.
1.5.
Yeah,
1.25.
Being undefeated, 16-0, being a champ. Being 15 years younger or whatever that you just said the number was.
Right.
You got to imagine Bartosiński is going to be favorite, but also I would say on that same note with Khalidov, he is such like a big name, and this fight's happening at middleweight, whereas Bartosiński is the welterweight champ. So like, and Khalidov fights at whatever weight he feels like it on that given day. So I got to imagine that brings it down a little bit. So I'm gonna say Bartosiński like -175, 275. Now the whatever book you're talking about has wild juice. So what are we getting Khalidov at?
173.
Okay, yeah. So there's the -175 I was looking for. It's just plus. So that's crazy juice. Make sure you find a book that doesn't juice their fights like that. I have no idea. It's definitely not BetUS. BetUS wouldn't juice their stuff like that. I'm gonna go Khalidov. I think as old as he is, the dude still throws absolute bombs. I mean, like, if you look at his last 2 fights, right? He beat Puig, and he did so by picking him up and slamming him. I want to remind people that he picked up and slammed Maurice Pudzianowski with a body lock, not even with like a double leg under the hips. Like he body lock picked up in like, it was almost like a lat press. He like lat pressed Pudzianowski, and then ground and pounded the hell out of him. Like, first of all, that's wild because that's a 265-pound man he's doing that to. And now he's going to be fighting a glorified 170er, right? In Khalidov, first of all, still got the ability to grapple like that. Still, when he hits you, your lights turn out, right? Because the fight before that, if I'm not mistaken, was a wild one-punch knockout. Like he still hits so freaking hard. He's taking longer breaks in between his fights, but it's just to, like, make sure his brain's not rattled around. Bartosiński too is as good as he is, and as good as the power that he brings. He like really telegraphs the uppercut, and it's like in a way that makes me think like, oh, dude, you are just going to eat the most brutal counter from Khalidov and go to sleep. Because you can see like 6 seconds before he's going to start throwing that uppercut, you're like, oh, here comes the uppercut, just like slowly making his way towards you with it. And so far it's worked at welterweight because he is more powerful than your average welterweight, particularly your KSW welterweights. He's not more powerful than Khalidov. Khalidov throws so hard, and now up at 85. I think the physicality is going to get to him. I think the power is going to get to him. Give me Khalidov here, especially at dog money.
All right, there you go. Let's give you a quick recap and then get you some extra bonus picks now, shall we? He's got Khalidov as a dog. He's got actually 3 out of the 5 picks you did were dogs. Khalidov,
one of them's like a pick. One of them's basically
yeah. He's got DeFries. He's got Formela. He's got Haratyk. He has got Zalewski. All right, lightning round. Zap, bam, boom, pow. Go ahead.
I have no idea what his number is going to come in at. Maybe
okay,
if
I
you're looking at him right now, pull those up. Madras Flaminas is a guy who is in every single fight that he's ever been in. Like he's just an absolute dog and a guy who will fight for your money. I have to imagine he's a dog. Am I wrong about that?
You're correct.
Is it a big old one?
169. Nice.
Okay, not as big as I was hoping, but he's a guy who fights for your money no matter what. His striking is kind of fun. He's got like let's call him the modern day Keith Jardine, where he's just so freaking awkward. And he's long and he's lanky and he throws weird punches and he can grapple a little bit and always more than you're expecting. Flaminas, I think, fun underdog play on the lightning round. And then the other one I'm going to put in there is Arkadiusz Rosic, who is fighting Meshu Sheffel. And this is as much as a pick about Rosic as it is a fade of Sheffel, because I continuously see the way that he fought on Contender Series and on PFL and all those types of things. And I'm just like, this dude seems like he's trying to lose fights sometimes, gets held up against the cage for long periods of time, doesn't throw punches. And he's up against the 5-0 prospect here. So I'm going to take Rosic as well as Flaminas as my 2 lightning round picks.
Yeah, I don't see odds for the Rosic fight for some reason, but
I'm hoping that one comes in. Okay, so if I get to predict one, which I haven't been able to do all day, if I get to predict odds on a fight, I will say that one might come in as even because you get a 5-0 prospect, but he's fighting a guy who's got 23 fights or so and was in PFL and Contender Series. So like, hot prospect, also guy with lots of big experience. So like, you might wind up seeing like a pick 'em there.
All right, you're all set for KSW. If you want more KSW talk or any kind of MMA talk, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/discord is the place to be. Or the comments of our YouTube channel, MMA Gambling Podcast on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing. Or Twitter, SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Breland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer. I'm the same handle on Instagram. I've got a Substack. Check it out. Check out my articles. Enter my free UFC Pick'em contest every week at moneymma.substack.com. Gumby has another podcast, I know, shocking, called Top Turtle. He interviews interesting people in the MMA world. And this week he has on who?
We got Royber Echeverria, who is main eventing Anthony Pettis Fighting Championships, which we will be breaking down on tomorrow's episode. And I believe I'm talking with Damon Jackson. I'm scheduled to speak with Damon Jackson. You can never 100% count on interviews that haven't happened yet. But I believe you will hear an interview with Damon Jackson if you listen this week.
Hopefully he comes through. You never know with athletes, especially MMA. Actually, MMA I found has been easier than other sports to get a hold of people. At least in the old days it was. So, all right. And of course, you can catch us at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Get sticky with it. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. Gumby, take us out.
I'm David Gumby Breland. He's the Canadian Machida, Jeff Fox, and we will see you tomorrow.